Gonna see Baby Driver today. Yeah. Hey guys, Alex here, and I just got out of seeing Baby Driver. Not sure I took off my sunglasses, but I did. Anyways, this movie was fantastic. I'm gonna say it was a car movie for the most part, but it's not like your typical like road movie like Vanishing Point or say Mad Max. I guess it's more of a heist car movie because the main guy in this movie is a getaway driver. They call him Baby in the movie, but in the end you find out what his real name is. I won't spoil that for you. But yeah, so I guess it's more of a heist car movie, and overall I would fit it into the car genre. But it's not just a car movie. It's got a lot of comedy. It's got romance in it. And the guy who did this movie, this might shed some light on the comedy aspect. The guy who directed this movie is Edgar Wright. He also directed Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. You know, British comedy basically. And when this guy started to direct this Americanized movie, he wanted to make it feel American. So he got some, American consultants to give this movie an American feel to it. And of course, most of the cast, well, I guess some of the cast is American. You got Kevin Spacey, you have Ansel from the Divergent series, and Jamie Foxx is American. You have at least one British actress in that, and that's Lily James. She's that the girl who played Cinderella in the Disney live-action remake 1 or 2 years ago. Very pretty. But she flattens her accent in this movie, so she sounds American. So, anyways, this is a comedy, but it's also a heist car movie. And let's talk about this movie without giving you any major spoilers. So, first off, you might want to know, is this a car movie? I already told you, yeah. I would say overall it is a car movie. Tons of car scenes in this movie. Now let me tell you Subaru fans out there, I got some good news and I got some bad news. The good news is, the best car scene is the scene that you see in the trailer, and that's with the Subaru Impreza. And that's a 2006 model. Now the bad news is that car disappears after the first scene. So you see this car for about what, 5 minutes at most, maybe 10 minutes, and that's it. Because throughout the rest of the movie, the hero, played by Ansel, he drives, I would say, about a dozen different cars he drives through. And the Subaru is just the first car that he drives in. But that Subaru scene is probably the best car scene in this movie. And you do see a good majority of that in the trailers. It's a pretty sweet car. I'm not really into imports, but I think it's good to see, a well-made movie, show an import driving really well. Because, you get the Fast and Furious movies, and, I do like the Fast and Furious movies, but I don't think they're good car movies at all. I would say the car scenes in this movie blows out every single car scene in all the Fast and Furious movies. Because the problem with the Fast and Furious movies is that there's way too much editing involved. I mean, there was a lot of editing involved in this movie too, but there's some great car scenes that are unbroken, and you can see that it took an experienced driver to perform these maneuvers. But yeah, okay, as I was saying, yeah, the Subaru Impreza 2006 gets a pretty sweet scene at the beginning. And but after that, the main guy, he goes through a whole series of cars. So he also goes through an Avalanche. That's in the very next scene. That's for the second heist that the team pulls, and that's where you first see Jamie Foxx. And an Avalanche is basically a really big freaking truck, and that was using a very sweet scene as well. I would say the Avalanche scene is almost on par with the Subaru scene in terms of car stunts and car action, but very sweet scene, and it's pretty dangerous from what I could tell. I mean, it looked pretty dangerous. I don't care how you film that. No matter how you film that, that's still a dangerous scene to film. There's 2 other cars that are used after the Avalanche scene, and man, I don't know what they were, to be honest. I kind of draw a blank. The third car, it looked like a 70s Cadillac DeVille, but it had these side louvers on it, kind of like a Cuda. So I'm not sure what kind of car that was, but that was the third car he drives. And then in the fourth car he drives, it's maybe like a Cadillac or a Buick, I forgot already. But it's like a much later model, like 80s, maybe 90s. They drive this car up until the scene where they have to look for guns that they're going to use in an upcoming heist. But anyways, so that car gets ditched, and they end up picking up a Yukon or an Escalade. It's some kind of a, you know, like sports utility vehicle. And then the fifth car, I completely draw a blank. It's some kind of random, generic-looking sedan. They're in that car for like not too long, and that's when they're doing this post office heist. But that's when things go pretty bad. So the driver ends up stealing a Mitsubishi, and then he steals some pretty generic looking Toyota. Now, after he gets out of his Toyota, he actually steals a pretty sweet car. It's an '86 Caprice, and he steals that from some old woman. After he takes his Caprice, he goes back to that first Cadillac that you see in the movie. That's the one with the side louvers. He takes that Cadillac thing, and then he has to ditch that car, and that's when he picks up the Dodge Challenger, which you also see in the trailers. And the Dodge Challenger gets some pretty decent car driving, but not as much as the Avalanche and the Impreza. So after he gets rid of his Challenger, he ends up in a Mercedes. The Mercedes is the car driven by Kevin Spacey, so it's a pretty you know, upper class luxury car. Finally, he ends up in like a '70s Chevy Blazer. So yeah, I would say overall he goes through like 12 different cars, I think. It's hard to remember all this. Sorry, I'm sorry I forgot what the other cars were. I just drew a blank on them, because when I'm watching this movie, it's hard keeping track when he's switching cars this many times. So overall, I loved the movie, and the whole reason why I spent this much time talking about the cars is because I just assumed that most of the people watching this review wanted to know about the cars, and I know a lot of you are Subaru fans, and yeah, you do get some excellent Subaru action, but you don't get it that much. You just get it in the opening scene, but that opening scene is the best car scene in the movie, and that is a fantastic scene. Those stunts are extremely hard to pull. I don't know how they pull those. I don't know how many cars they went through to perform those stunts. I don't know if they did it in their first take. I kind of doubt it, because they were very complex looking. This movie, the main guy, Ansel, whatever, his name is Baby in the movie. He listens to music the entire time. As he's listening to this music, that music takes the place of the background music in the movie. So I would say 90% of this movie is background music. It's almost like watching, kind of like watching a music video, but not quite a music video. It's definitely not a musical, but definitely lots of music, almost non-stop throughout the entire movie. And they edited the clips so that it fits the music, so it's kind of hard to explain that. But basically the music does fit the scene, like hardcore. And would I recommend this to a person who doesn't like car scenes? Yeah, I think I would, because there's a lot of great comedy in it. And also the character interactions are pretty sweet. This is probably one of Jamie Foxx's best roles, in my opinion. And same with the other you know, heistmen that you see in this movie. They were all excellent. And definitely Lily James. Oh man, she's so pretty. She was great. Of course, the main guy, Baby, he did exactly what he needed to do to make this character come to life. I say there's two types of people who came to watch this movie. One are car buffs, especially, I guess, Subaru buffs, who saw this car and go, wow, this could be a Subaru movie. Too bad it's not. And the second group of people that came to watch this movie are fans of Edgar Wright. I would say on both accounts, if you're an Edgar Wright fan or if you're a car fan, you're gonna love this movie. But I would say the best car scenes are towards the first 20% of this movie, and that's when you see the Subaru Impreza and also the Avalanche truck. But yeah, there's still some more decent car scenes after that, but I would say the best car scenes are at the beginning. So, do I recommend this movie? Hell yeah, I do. Movie's awesome if you're an Edgar Wright fan or if you're a car fan. And the Pacquiao fight was rigged, and I also got this free poster afterwards. Nut job too. Definitely not a car movie.